Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, a Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Before we get to the report, if you like our style of video and analysis, feel free to show support for Football Game Plan by dropping by our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan and leaving a little something in the tip jar. Every little bit helps us as we continue to improve the quality of our videos and the coverage we enjoy bringing you guys each and every time we put out a project. Thank you again for your support.
Welcome to Football Game Plans Talking with TD. I'm your host, Teron Davenport.
Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com. I am Teron Davenport. Talking with TD will continue. Got to get my receivers in. Have to do it. So we're going to go to UCLA. We're going to talk with wide receiver Devin, a guy who is coming off an outstanding pro day. Turned a lot of heads. Devin, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How you going?
I'm doing really well, man. I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to get you on here for quite some time, so it's good that we're able to make this happen. As a receiver, you know, you worked out yesterday at your pro day. How did that workout go? From what I understand, you turned a lot of heads.
Yeah, the workout started, with the height and weight, which turned out pretty good for me. I was 6 foot 194. Basically what I was at the NFLPA, and then we went over to the running drills and vertical jump, and I jumped what I thought I was going to jump and ran what I was running in training. So it turned out to be a pretty good day. I ran in the 4.3s and jumped over 10 foot in the broad and jumped 36, I think. So I think it was good with testing wise, and then for my routes and things like that, just try to be as crisp as I could in my routes, and they said that it did look crisp and catch everything with my hands, so it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, and that's really important, to catch the football with your hands, especially for a guy like yourself, who has yards after catch ability and speed. You want to run through the catch. Now, a lot of listeners don't understand what that saying means. Can you kind of touch on that, what that means to you, running through the catch?
Yeah. Running through the catch is, you learn it mostly at the college and NFL level. I know more, but don't stop and at the point of contact. Run back to the quarterback or run into the ball, because the DB is always gonna try to beat you to the spot of the ball. So you gotta always gain that advantage.
And in order to be able to do that, you have to be very confident and comfortable catching the football with your hands. And as you mentioned,
exactly.
That's something that you were able to do yesterday at your pro day. As far as the return part of it, I mean, you're a guy, outstanding returner, looking at the BYU game, you had a really good game against them. What is it that allows you to be so effective in the return game?
Just trusting the blocks and trusting that it's going to be there, because, special teams is all, heart and want to. It's not a spot for, I need to be out there and stuff like that. You want guys that want to be out there, and you want guys that you can trust. So a lot of the time, it's just me trusting my guys and hitting the hole where it's supposed to be hit. And the first thing about special teams is bringing the ball back to the offense. Which a lot of special teams, is all about trust as well. So if the coach trusts you when being back there, you got to make smart decisions with the ball too.
So being a multi-dimensional player, I know that helps you. You're a guy that could fill multiple roster spots with one roster spot. So that's definitely got to be an advantage. I know there were some teams that were interested in you, working you out a little bit after the workout at the pro day in regards to the return game. What were some of the things that they were telling you as far as how that could make you a more marketable, a more valuable player?
Yeah, well, it wasn't as much yesterday, but I've heard it just in the past with talking to people and things like that. It's just rookies making the team on special teams first. Because there's veterans at every position coming in, and if you're not first round, they expect you to play special teams, or like the first on the depth chart player, they expect you to play special teams, because they only have 3-man rosters and they only dress about 47 to 48 guys. So, if you're not the first string, you're playing special teams. So I know that my role will consist of special teams, and I want to be as good as I can at it, early on, just to get a jump on it.
That's a great understanding of everything. Coming out of high school, you were a guy that very good player, a quarterback and a DB, a four-star recruit. How did you end up going from New Jersey to UCLA?
I canceled all the schools that were recruiting me to play DB. I didn't play receiver in high school, so that was new to me. But canceled all the schools that wanted me at DB, and I limited my schools to just quarterback. And UCLA was one of the contenders, and I felt the faith that they had in me, and the academic side was unbeatable with the football aspect of Coach Moore and him and the staff that he did. It's unmatched from that standpoint. So I felt like it was a great fit.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Coach Moore because he is a guy that I think is kind of floating under the radar. He's putting together a really good program out there at UCLA. Obviously, a former NFL coach. What's some of the feedback that you got from him as far as just where you are in this process, as a prospect?
Yeah. Well, yesterday, I guess I turned a lot of heads, with my performance. But, that's nothing that, I wasn't capable of doing in my time at UCLA. So it wasn't really, shocking to a lot of UCLA people, but maybe to a lot of scouts. But I think he was saying that, I definitely helped myself. I don't know about my standing with the scouts, although it was a good day, but he just said I helped myself a lot yesterday.
Now, I'm not going to ask you what teams, but did you get to speak to any scouts afterwards? And if so, what was some of the feedback that you got from them?
Oh, yeah, I talked to the majority of the teams that were there yesterday, and the majority of them were saying that, I had a really good day. And that was basically it. Just short and quick, just you had a really nice day out here, and, we look forward to seeing you down in the future.
As far as contributing on offense, I know that you said that you're willing to do whatever you have to do in order to, make the roster, play different positions. Do you project yourself as a guy that could play slot, or do you see yourself outside, or just doing both?
Yeah, I could definitely do both. I played 3 years on the inside, and I played this last year on the outside. And I'll tell you, the inside is harder, but you get. I see in the NFL, you make a living off of both. So I see like Danny Amendola, I forget the guy's name, but he's on the Cowboys now, and Wes Welker. They made their livings on the inside, the go-to receivers on third downs and just picking up the yardage that they need. But outside is more of a vertical threat, and I feel like I can add both of those aspects to the game. I'm fast and I'm quick at the same time. So, whatever the team needs me at the time, but, I feel like I play both.
Yeah, Cole Beasley is the one that you were talking about from the
Cole
Cowboys.
Beasley, yep, that's his name, yeah.
I tell you, you mentioned earlier about your confidence catching the football and catching it with your hands, and then your crisp routes. So that's definitely something, along with toughness, that you could bring as a slot receiver. So that's a good point, and it's always good to be able to play inside and out. So glad you mentioned that. Now, looking at the NFLPA Bowl, I know that was a week of practice where you got to work out with other guys who are going to be playing at the next level and work with some individual players who coaches who played in the league. What was your take from the NFLPA Bowl? How did that week of practice go?
The week of practice went well. I feel like I showcased some of my talents there as well at the game. But, it was just having fun, getting back into football, playing with some of the best players in the country that are going to be in the same goals as you, that you're trying to achieve their dreams of making the NFL. And, I didn't have the game that I wanted to. I had one catch, but, the game isn't tailored towards, the player, because you rotate, all that stuff.
Right.
But the practices, I got great coaching from my coaches, and, I learned a lot.
One thing that always interests me when you look at these bowl games and you have 1 week. You have 1 week to get that chemistry and timing down with a quarterback. And as a guy that's going to be in a camp, you're going to have to get that timing down with the quarterback quickly in order to get a job. So,
Yeah.
what was it that you were able to do to work to get that chemistry down with the various quarterbacks that you had to work with when you were at the All-Star game?
Just like little things, eat with them, talk with them about the playbook, because, we all got the playbook at the same time, try to study with them during dinner times. And, at the NFLPA time, at the NFLPA, there was not a lot of downtime. We were meeting with scouts, and, there would be dinner, and dinner was probably the only time that, like, people got to really socialize in the time, or dinner or breakfast, pretty much eating time. So the eating times, that's when I would sit down with some of our quarterbacks and go over some of the plays that we had, so that they knew I would be in the right spot at the right time, so stuff like that.
That's a great idea. You have to make them understand that you're a guy that could be trusted. So,
exactly.
And a lot of people, they don't understand the mental side of the game. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really good point. So at this point, the pro day is over and done with. Got a month or so until things really get turned up as far as the next level is concerned. What are you going to be doing between now and then? Where are you working out, and how are things looking as far as visits and workouts are concerned?
I'm going to be staying in LA. I'm probably going to be working out at UCLA or a place out in LA. In the time being, hopefully I'll get some visits to some NFL teams. But until draft day, I'll just be out here just training UCLA or out here in LA.
There you have it. Keep working hard, man. And just before we let you go, what particular games would you say our listeners? Because we have some film junkies, they like to watch these prospects that we have on. So for our listeners, what particular games would you say that they need to go to really see what Devin Fuller, the football player, brings?
I would definitely say I played my best games from this year, probably Cal game, University of California, and Stanford, I would say.
There you have it. Devin, we appreciate you coming on. Definitely want to get you back on as we get closer to draft time. And, hey, man, I wish you the best. Keep grinding.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
That wraps up this edition of Talking with TD. Be sure to check out all of my interview segments at footballgameplan.com/talkingwithtd. If you have any questions or people you want me to sit down with, hit me up on Twitter at @TDavenport_NFL.